You take something out of your baby's mouth, and seconds later, they put it right back in. You clean it, move it away, try to stop it, but nothing seems to change. And deep down, there's that quiet question, the one almost no one says out loud. Why do they keep doing this? Is it just a phase? Is it teething? Or is something wrong? Because the more you watch, the stranger it feels. It's not occasional. It's not random. It's repetitive, intense, almost urgent. Like, somehow, they need to do it. And this is where most people get it wrong. Your baby isn't just putting a lâcher in their mouth. And the real reason behind it is much deeper and much more important than it seems. Most explanations stop here. People say it's teething, that it's curiosity, that it's just a developmental phase. But that doesn't explain the behavior. Because if it were just teething, it wouldn't happen this often or this intensely. If it were just curiosity, they wouldn't repeat the exact same action over and over with that level of focus. And if it were just a phase, there wouldn't be such a clear pattern behind it. So no, this isn't just a phase, and it's not a random habit either. What you're seeing is not a simple behavior. It's a system in action. In fact, research in early childhood development, including studies from Harvard University and Yale University, shows that in the first months of life, a baby's brain depends on intense, repetitive sensory input to begin organizing its perception of reality. Which means they're not doing this because they want to. They're doing it because their brain still needs it to function. And once you see it that way, the question completely changes. It's no longer, why do they put everything in their mouth? It becomes, what exactly is their brain trying to figure out that it can't access any other way? To understand what's really happening here, you have to completely change the way you look at it, because your baby is not exploring the world the way you do. They don't use logic, they don't use language, and most importantly, they still can't fully rely on vision. In the first months of life, vision is limited, imprecise, unstable. Objects aren't fully defined, distances aren't clear. The world, for them, isn't solid yet. Now here's the key point, and almost no one talks about this. The mouth is your baby's primary information channel. More than their hands, more than their eyes. The mouth has one of the highest concentrations of sensory receptors in the entire body. It sends highly detailed information about texture, temperature, consistency, shape, resistance. So while you look at an object, your baby needs to feel it deeply to begin understanding it. And that's not an exaggeration. Research in neurodevelopment, including studies from Harvard University, shows that at this stage, the brain prioritizes sensory regions connected to the mouth far more than visual or cognitive areas. So when your baby puts something in their mouth, they're not just touching it, they're collecting real data about the world. And that completely changes what this behavior actually means. Now here's the part almost no one sees, but it explains why this happens so often, and so intensely. When your baby puts something in their mouth, their brain isn't just receiving information. It's trying to answer a fundamental question. Is this predictable? Because for an immature brain, the biggest challenge isn't understanding the world. It's learning whether it can trust it. Every new object is uncertainty. Every new texture is a question. Every change is a potential alert. And this is where a powerful mechanism kicks in. Repetition. They bring it to their mouth, pull it away, bring it back, again and again. That's not random. That's the brain running a test. Is it the same? Did it change? Is it safe? And with every repetition, something internal starts to shift. Uncertainty goes down. Patterns begin to form. The nervous system starts organizing the input. Biologically, this involves dopamine, linked to learning and discovery, and a gradual reduction in alert state activation. Research in sensory development, including work highlighted by the Mayo Clinic, shows that predictable, repetitive input directly helps the immature brain build internal stability. And here's the key shift. It's not about the object. It's about the pattern the brain can extract from it. So when your baby puts everything in their mouth, it's not mess, it's not impulse, it's not habit. It's the brain doing one of the most important jobs of this stage. turning a chaotic world into something that finally starts to make sense. And when you zoom out even further, this starts to make real sense. Because your baby isn't learning the world in a neutral environment. The human brain was shaped in a world where not understanding your surroundings could be dangerous. For thousands of years, a baby didn't have explanations, no language, no constant reassurance about what was safe. All they had was their body. And they had to use that body to answer basic survival questions. Can this be ingested? Is this dangerous? Does it change or stay the same? Can I trust it? And the most efficient way to answer those questions was through the mouth. Not by accident. The mouth is one of the most sensitive and information-rich areas of the human body from birth. It allows precise environmental feedback, exactly what the brain needs when it can't yet process the world abstractly. Research in infant development and sensory behavior, including studies discussed by Yale University, shows that oral exploration isn't a small detail of development. It's a fundamental biological pattern. This didn't start in your home. It's not something unique to your baby. It's something evolution kept, because it works. So when your baby brings something to their mouth, they're not just exploring. They're doing exactly what the human brain was designed to do when it doesn't yet understand the world. And that's why this behavior feels so strong, so persistent, so hard to interrupt. Because for them, this isn't optional. It's necessary. And this is where a detail shows up that almost no one talks about, but it changes everything. Your baby is living in a conflict. On one side, their brain needs to explore, to test, to figure things out. On the other, they don't yet have a developed system to filter risk. They can't look at an object and think, this might be dangerous. I shouldn't put it in my mouth. They also can't replace this exploration with a safer strategy. So what do? They rely on the only tool they can trust, even if, from the outside, it looks wrong, even if you try to stop it, even if you take the object away again and again. On the inside, what's happening is simple and powerful. Their brain is trying to learn, without yet being able to fully protect itself. And that creates a behavior that, to you, feels like insistence. But to them, it's necessity. It's not stubbornness, it's not disobedience, and it's definitely not a choice. It's a system trying to evolve, with the tools it has right now. And that's exactly why, when you try to stop it without understanding what's behind it, it feels like nothing works. Because you're trying to interrupt a behavior, but what's driving it is much bigger than the behavior itself. Once you start seeing it this way, that behavior that once felt strange, or even concerning, completely changes its meaning. It's not a quirk. It's not just a phase. And it's definitely not a lack of care. It's your baby's brain trying to do something very specific. Understand the world through the body. And if this could be translated, it would sound something like this. I need to feel it, to understand it. I put things in my mouth because that's how my brain learns. I can't fully interpret this just by looking. I'm not taking a risk. I'm developing. And that changes everything. Because this isn't about what your baby does. It's about what they can't do yet in any other way. And that automatic gesture, putting everything in their mouth, starts to reveal something much bigger. A brain under construction, trying to organize the world with the tools it has. Now, here's the part almost no one talks about. And it's probably happened to you. There are days when your baby is exploring everything, putting objects in their mouth, active, curious, and suddenly something shifts. They get more irritable, more sensitive, or just seem uncomfortable for no clear reason. And that quiet question shows up. Is this just a phase, or is something wrong? But most of the time, it's not the behavior that changed. It's their internal state. And that state can be affected by things that seem completely unrelated, like something as simple as bath time, the temperature of the water, the type of contact, the kind of sensory input their body is receiving. Because before your baby can explore the world, their brain needs to be regulated first. If this is making sense to you, subscribe to the channel. Because here, you don't just get tips. You learn how to understand what's actually happening inside your baby's brain. And that changes the way you respond to everything. Now, if you've ever had that moment where your baby suddenly changes during or after a bath, calmer or more unsettled, for no clear reason, click the video on your screen. That's where you'll finally understand what's really happening inside their body and how to fix what's been confusing you. Because before words, your baby's body is already telling the whole story.